Hello, this is Veterans News, a production of the United Veterans Organization of Nassau County. My name is Ed Allman. I'd like to thank Altice USA for providing the training for our crew and for the use of their studio facilities here in Hapag. The show is broadcast on public access television. You can also catch Veterans News on YouTube. Just go to Veterans News UVO. Or, as I heard today, you can Google me, Ed Allman, and you'll get the same Veterans News. I'd like to say hello to our viewers in both Nassau and Suffolk County. I'd also like to thank Sabrina Lacey, former commander of the Suffolk County VFW, who is our co-host. Hello,
Thank you.
Sabrina.
Thank you, Ed.
I'd like to thank our crew. Our crew is kind of light today. Loretta DeBrino, she's on camera number 1, and she's our audio director. Beverly 2 is our video director. Our regular director is Robert Lane, and our floor manager and everything else, who's an expert on everything, Pat Golino. By the way, if you'd like to ask me a question or make a comment on the show, just go to our website. Sure. Just can't. Oh boy. All right. Go to our website, Veterans News UVO at gmail.com. That's Veterans News UVO at gmail.com. Our guests today are Brent Russell, coordinator of the Nassau County Vet-to-Vet program, and Steve Rose, a facilitator in that same Vet-to-Vet program. And also my favorite guest, Hook. You'll find out who Hook is soon. We'll talk to our guest in a few minutes, but first let me read the names of some of our veterans who died recently. Arlene Howard, the mother of the Port Washington police officer George Howard, who died at the attack on the World Trade Center. She was also a member of the Waves and the commander of both the Hicksville and the Nassau County American Legion. Sidney Finkelstein was a member of the Army Air Corps during World War II who lived in East Northport. Daniel D. Francesco was a veteran of both the Normandy invasion and the Battle of the Bulge. He was a resident of Riverhead. Dominic Pascucci was a carpenter from Glen Cove who served in the Army during the Korean War. Arthur Krug passed away in Melville. He was a Navy seaman and medic during World War II. Martin Grabis of Syosset was a staff sergeant in the Army Air Corps during World War II. Richard Dormier of East Northport, he immigrated from Ireland, became a citizen, and then served in the U.S. Army. Eugene Markey was a member of the Huntington Crescent Club. He enlisted in the Army and served in Schofield Barracks in Honolulu. Dr. Nicholas James of Mineola. Dr. Nicholas James of Mineola, he was an Army veteran who served as a medic during the Vietnam War. Robert Lee of Franklin Square was a proud veteran of the Korean War and was a member of both the VFW and the American Legion. James Rocks of Merrick was a proud combat veteran of World War II. And lastly, from Glen Head, I had the sad duty of going to this funeral. Sergeant Robert Hendricks died on April 8th this year. He died with 2 other Marines from the 225 Regiment, the USMC, in Garden City. If you know a veteran who died recently and would like to hear their names mentioned in this part of the show, email me at veteransnewsuvo@gmail.com. That's the end of our news for veterans. Now it's time for our guest. Welcome, Brent and Steve Rose. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
What war were you in? Brent, you go first.
So I served from 1990 to 1992 during this Desert Storm era.
Where did you serve?
I served stateside. I served in New Jersey, Fort Dix. I served in South Carolina, and I served in Georgia.
What was your job?
So my MOS was communications, 31 kilos. Yeah.
How did you get into what you're doing now?
Well, ever since I joined the military, it's been just a part of me. And so when I went to school, I decided I wanted to work with veterans.
Where'd you go to school?
At Delphi University.
Really?
Yeah, I graduated at Delphi with a bachelor and a master's in social work.
A master's in social work?
Yes, sir. Master's in social work.
Okay. It's hard to imagine you with a degree, a master's degree, because you dress like an ordinary, you know.
Yes. Just to have a master's degree, I do. And before I finished my school, I actually got a job, which was a grant-funded job with the Mental Health Association of Nassau County, and it was working with veterans. And I had already decided that this was a population I wanted to work with.
Really?
Yeah, so it was great for me. I was a case manager. And when that grant ran out, I was moved from that grant to another grant, and that grant was PFC Dwyer, Peer Support Project.
Sure.
Of Nassau County. I was a facilitator there, and I facilitated as a facilitator for about maybe a year, and then I got promoted to the program coordinator of the same program. And the program has been in existence for coming up on 6 years, and we advocate for money every year.
Yeah.
And we've been able to get the support that we need from New York State Senate in order to be funded.
Okay. You know, before we talk more about what you're doing now,
Okay.
I'd like to find out what you actually did when you were in the military. You
Okay.
were in communications.
Yeah, I was in communications.
What does that mean?
So basically, my job was to have a radio on my back,
On your back.
right? And I would communicate.
Radio on the back. I thought radios were all small now.
Not in 1990. It wasn't.
1990, they were
He's
still
old.
large?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, we had they trained us on a nice size radio.
It was a
I
MASH back then, Ed.
It was a MASH?
They would set up a satellite area with antennas and signal stuff going up. And they would have trailers full of people monitor all the communication systems. I was a
Yes.
31 mic in the Army.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
you
worked
know what I'm
along
talking
with
about.
you, right?
Yes.
In terms of digging tunnels, we had to dig holes and landline, tell them, little tunnels of equipment and wires to different areas outside in the field. It could be 200 meters or more.
Absolutely.
And with you, with the on the radio, they had to go out there and they had to have the satellites connected to his panel.
Right.
We had the Prick 25.
Prick 25. Okay.
What kind of radio did you have?
Forget the name of the radio that I had.
Okay.
But I know it was a nice size.
What do they?
Yeah.
What does somebody in the communications today? What kind of radio do they have today?
Today, I'm not sure about today. I'm really not really in.
Brent,
in
you
touch
know
with-
what they have. They have the cell phone. Everybody have a cell phone. Ed, come on now. We all
Okay.
use cell
That's what we
phones now.
communicate with cell phones now. Right.
Wow.
Right?
That's right.
Okay.
Text, so forth and so
No
on.
more digging tunnels and
Wow.
Yeah, technology has definitely changed things.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you were a radio operator.
Yes, sir.
Who did you talk to on the
So-
radio?
So we would talk to our commanding officers, and we would relay messages back and forth.
Okay.
would you be practicing in a field exercise of some sort like that? Is that what you were doing? Training?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so you would communicate through the system where you were training in, right?
Absolutely. And we did that training in Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Fort
That's
Gordon,
where-
Georgia.
Yeah, that's where I did my AIT.
Okay. Desert Storm was going on while you were in the service.
Yep, sure was.
How close did you get to being sent over there?
Very close. Very close. When I was in my advanced individual training, actually the airstrike, the first initial airstrike was ordered. President Bush ordered that airstrike.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was-
All right, Steve Rose.
Hello, sir.
Okay, I can see you're a Marine. You
Yep.
still have your Marine tie
Well,
on.
I'll explain that. I know you'll ask some good questions, okay?
Okay.
So my last year of service, I was Fleet Marine Force. I was actually a Navy corpsman.
Really?
But if you ask me where I found the most improvement in myself and learning experience from my war experience, it was being with the Marines.
You were in the Navy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was that?
I'm really old, so I'll do that with you. I actually joined after John F. Kennedy was killed.
Really?
I actually volunteered to go in the Navy the day after his death. I was in Jamaica. I remember it as if it was today. I was in Jamaica, Queens. I went by about Gertz, which is really
Right.
a long time ago,
Sure.
and there were 20 TVs, and I saw his death, and the pride in me said, "You're going to go join." So I did. I joined the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you go to Vietnam?
Yes, sir.
Who would you serve with?
I served with 1st to 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines. They were called the Magnificent Bastards.
Okay.
And then I served with a unit that was very mobile. When a crisis happened, we would be a traveling unit going to where the crisis, where I served in an area called I-Corps.
I-Corps, sure.
Yes, and yeah, so we would be a mobile crisis unit. And I'm a corpsman by training.
Mm-hmm. You obviously saw some action then.
Yes, sir.
How many men were wounded, or did you have to deal with that?
Yes. I don't want to overdo. It's not a war, so it's a fact.
Right.
My first time in Vietnam was in Da Nang, at the air base.
Right.
I was assigned for 1 day with the medical corps at the air base, and there was a place called Marble Mountain,
Sure.
which I know you know, and they took a hit at Marble Mountain, and I was peeling potatoes. That
You
was
were a
my
medic who was peeling potatoes.
corpsman,
Corpsman.
not a medic. We very pride ourselves as corpsmen, not
Corpsman.
medics.
That's right.
So
Medic is what they called you in the Navy. Corpsman is what they called you in the.
no, corpsman is the official term, a Navy corpsman.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm peeling potatoes, and they said there are 2 helicopters coming back with dead Marines. So my first duty was actually the second day I was there. I was packing bodies to be shipped home. So yeah,
Mm.
and then more unique events, but
Yeah.
God had a mission for me, and that was to come back and do what I do now.
Okay. What do you do now?
A lot of things, okay. The thing I enjoy the most is working as a facilitator for Vet to Vet. We do a lot of different programs. Because I'm not a kid anymore, I get the opportunity to go into the senior homes with this wonderful dog.
With Hook.
With Hook.
Okay.
And we help veterans who are structurally having a complicated time to relax. He's a dog that helps people relax.
Yes, I can see that.
And he's very relaxed.
Yes,
He's very
he's
relaxed.
Very relaxed. Come up, Hook, get up and do something.
Hook, come here.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, sit down.
Very good.
Yeah, so we pride ourselves, and he's been to programs, and he does a lot. We go into schools also, and we work with special needs children, and so we're very busy every day helping veterans.
How old
And
is Hook?
Hook is actually 3 years old.
Oh, okay.
He was just 3 years old 2 weeks ago. We celebrated.
Okay.
Okay.
And what is his history in the military?
Okay, so he's a very interesting story. Okay, should we do that now?
Sure.
It's fine. So Hook was going to be a service dog. Okay, he was also going to be a dog working with the blind. But what happened was, since you asked the question,
Yes,
which
I
is a
did.
good one, he was not comfortable helping one person. For example, what he would do is if other people were walking, he'd visit. They said he failed out of school. I usually cover his ears, but he's okay now. Because he was too friendly. He was too friendly to be working with one person, and so thus he became the possibility of me becoming his caretaker.
Right.
So I became his caretaker for 8 months, and about 4 months ago I became his owner.
Very good. I understand he was trained for 8 months as well.
Yeah, so he was actually trained for over 12 months, but the 8 months that we talked about, he was actually in a prison with an incarcerated Navy vet down in Pensacola, Florida, and they worked together as a team. He obviously helped the veteran, and the veteran helped him to be the wonderful dog he is.
Does that veteran, does he have another dog now that he's training?
To be perfectly candid, once he came back to Smithtown,
Right.
I don't know that part.
Right.
And he may be out. They may have gotten out together. Okay. He didn't have to
Okay.
wear prison clothes, the dog. Okay. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
It's a little joke.
So where is your facility located? What do you do for the veterans that are here in Nassau County now?
Well, I
like
work
some of the
with
veterans that
I
are-
work with Brent,
Okay.
and we were actually out of the Mental Health Association.
16 Main Street, Hempstead.
Yeah.
16 Main Street in Hempstead?
Hempstead,
Okay.
And I visit there because we do dog therapy with some of the residents and the people who visit the mental health. But most of the times we're out. Like we have assignments every day. We go to the Bristol Assisted Living. We go to schools. We're just really busy every day.
Okay. How many people and partners are out in the field?
I'm not sure.
Is it just you and
Oh, you just
You-
well, no. We've been very lucky. We have about 3 or 4 of us who are in our Wednesday group.
Yes.
They come with me, and they help in their own personal recovery
Yes.
by helping others. If you ask me philosophically, what I believe in, I bother Brent with this all the time, is the more you're busy helping others, you're helping yourself, and that's in my view, the road to recovery.
Yes. Brent, from your experience being in around the guys that were coming back from Desert Storm, because you said you were in during that period, right? What did you see from your strategic point of view and your social worker education that you've obtained from which college?
Adelphi.
Adelphi University.
So what's your question?
The question is, what have you seen when from the Desert Storm veterans coming back now today? How are they being treated, or how do they feel today, from your perspective?
It's a hard question because the veterans who are coming home today. So let me just say this: a lot of veterans, most veterans who come home, are my understanding is that they're okay.
Okay.
But then we have some veterans who are not okay, and they have some PTSD issues. They have some military sexual trauma issues that they're bringing home with them, right? And so a lot of these younger veterans, we find are very hard to engage, very hard to connect with, because they don't want to be connected.
Do you think it's just a generation of the way the culture is with them, and we need a new way of approaching them and reaching them from the area where they are, and then we have to pretty much mold a little bit? All the organizations that I've seen, the American Legions and the VFWs, we've been around for a long time, so now we're learning from
Yes.
them, the Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans,
Yes.
that we need to change and we need to obtain some of their cultures. Since we have done that, we have fruitfully expanded. However, like you're saying, they're not coming out. What do you think that we can do to encourage them to come out? I know that my daughter was one of the veterans, and she obtained one of the poochies. It was a pit bull, and I did not want a pit bull in my house. But with her attitude and her disposition, pit bull, her, hey, welcome home.
Right.
The nice little,
Oh.
and his name was Trump, I think Trump or something like that. No, excuse me. Tank. That's what it was,
okay,
Tank.
Tank.
All right. So your organization and your organization coming together, from my perspective, I've seen over the years, and I've been doing this VFW stuff for about 10 years, is a marvelous connection. And that's what I think that we have to start thinking about doing in the future. What can we do to bring in the fuzzies are the ones that's bringing everything together.
That's a good point.
Do you see that happening?
I think
Can I ask you what the vet-to-vet program actually is?
absolutely. So there was a gentleman by the name of Joseph Dwyer who came home with medals. He did some great work as a in the military.
Was he the one carrying a
There's an
woman or a
iconic
child?
picture
Yeah.
of him carrying a child. He was a medic, and
Right.
he carried a child out of gunfire, and I believe the child got shot, I think. And he took him as a medic to be taken care of medically. And when he came home, he had some PTSD issues. He had saw some things. He had saw some. He's been in some gunfights, and he saw some gore, and I'm sure maybe probably lost some very close friends. And so when he came home, he had some PTSD issues. And one of the things that he did, which a lot of our veterans do, is turn to substance use. And his choice was huffing, which where you take an aerosol can and you would inhale it. And so that was his answer to the feelings that he was feeling and the voices that he was hearing inside of his head. And unfortunately, he lost his life. I don't believe that he meant to take his life. I believe that the coping mechanism that he chose to deal with his PTSD took him out, unfortunately. And so because of that, a gentleman by the name of Lee Zeldin got some monies together.
Lee Zeldin is from Suffolk County. He's one of the representatives, senators.
He was a representative.
Yes.
Yes, he was a congressman. Now I believe he's a senator.
And also a veteran.
And he's a veteran.
Yes.
He was a congressman when he initially got the money, and he started it, and so what we do with the monies that we get is we do peer support. That's what PFC Dwyer is about. It's about peer support because we believe wholeheartedly that if an individual is going through some issues, we're not saying that clinical work doesn't help, but what we're saying is that peer support, the model of peer support helps as well. And so we work and we flow under that model of peer support. And so we in Nassau County have groups that meet on a weekly basis where veterans get together and they support each other. Those veterans who come to our meeting, some of them give to our meeting and some of them take from our meeting, and it's been successful.
Peer support, are everyone that's involved with it suffers from some kind of PTSD or?
Not necessarily, and I'm gonna let Steve take that question because he's one of our facilitators.
Okay,
So we have a group on Wednesday night, which I'm so proud of. It's a fairly large group, maybe 14 to 16 people sometimes. And basically, we come together, and if someone has something uniquely happening to them during this period of time, they get the opportunity to talk about it or not. We've been meeting now for almost 3 or 4 years, and we facilitate people getting together and helping each other. Those same people are the people that go out into the community and help others. We have the belief that, as I said before, when you're being helped, you can help others also. It's really a philosophical truth. There's been a lot of research into that. People's recovery, and there's a thing called moral injury, is based on helping others. And that's the way we run our meetings.
Do you have an array of different people who served in different, like the Desert Storm?
Yes,
Direct?
the uniqueness of our group on Wednesday night, it's a very eclectic mixture, a male, female, of veterans from different wars. For example, as you know, We have one veteran who's 99 years old. His name is Walter, who still drives race cars. And then we
He
have
drives race cars?
Yes, yes, sir. He does.
99 years old?
Yes, sir. He does.
Okay.
He's a very unique individual who we're lucky to still have, and we constantly celebrate Walter.
Good.
And then we have younger veterans from different wars, even as we have a 20 to 30 or 25-year-old. So it's a different mixture of different
Walter
people.
is just a volunteer?
No, he's
No,
a member.
He's a member.
Yeah, he's a member of
World War II.
a World War II vet.
Mm-hmm.
So he still has issues from World War
So,
II?
so what we've done is we've kind of created a family,
Yeah.
right? And so Walter is connected to us, and we help Walter. There's been some issues which I'm really not going to get into, but we've helped to support Walter, and so because of that, those people who are around him, who kind of hold him up and support him, has become his family, and so Walter is a part of us, and so whenever we do anything, Walter, he wants to be there.
Right.
And that's what our program is about, and that's what we try to bolster and we try to enforce. We try to create a family of veterans within our community who come together and support each other on a weekly basis.
Do you ask for volunteers to join, or do people with needs join?
It seems to have taken a life of its own, where people invite other people to join us on Wednesday night. Just to add to that, our same group that's Wednesday night is going to do a presentation at Mental Health Association for other people to join us. And you couldn't have said it better. Brent said it. We're a big family.
Mm-hmm.
I call everyone Wednesday morning to let them know we have group
Right.
and talk to them how they're doing. And so we have an extended family that happens to meet on Wednesday night. There are other nights in other groups, but I do the Wednesday night group. That's why I'm talking about that.
Yeah, and so let me just add this. I mean, some people, for instance, we had an individual, and she came to us. She was a female veteran, and she came to us, and she had these anger issues, and she came to us, and she came to our groups, and she was in the court system, and she got out of the court system. She completed the court system, and she became part of our family, right? And we supported her, and she became well. She became well with her anger issues and so forth and so on. And she moved on and went to the VA, got a job at the VA, right? And then she moved on from that. She's very ambitious, and she went to school, right?
Good.
I forgot a big part. She worked for us.
Yeah.
She was a member, then she worked for us, and then she moved on, and then she moved on, then she moved up. And so,
Good.
but I said that because everybody who is within our family, let me put it that way, who's within our family that we've created may not be focused, or rather still stuck in their issues. But they've gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they've gotten better, they're still part of the family. They still want to come.
Right.
But they're helping those with their experience,
Right.
those who need help.
Where did somebody go if they're a veteran, they have a problem or an issue? How did they contact you? How did they get involved?
There's a few different ways. I'm sure you will add to this, but I'm constantly seeing veterans every place I go. If a person has a hat on,
Right.
I'm saying I always go, and it's a veteran. I go up to them, I give them a card, and I ask them how they're doing. It's really word of mouth that and some of our other facilitators do that also. So it's a lot of word of mouth to let them know about our programs.
And they
Okay.
also can Google the
We
program.
got to wrap it up.
Gotta
Hurry
wrap
up
it up.
You can
quick.
Google it.
Let everybody know your email address or your web
So
address.
My email address is brussell, that's 2 S's and 2 L's, @mhanc.org. Our website is Veteran Self Alliance of Long Island.
And with
Okay.
Memorial Day coming up, Ed, we have to say to everybody,
Oh, yeah.
just be careful for Memorial Day and support each other.
Yes.
And sons and daughters, go home to your mom for Mother's Day. They want to see you. Don't think twice. Go home.
That's May 12th, if you didn't know.
May 12th. And thank you for your service. Thank you,
welcome.
Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
And thank you,
Thank
Poochie
you very
Pooch.
much,
You
Brent.
got it, man. Thanks for having us.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man.
Okay, Steve.
You done?
Yes,
That's it?
that's it.
That's it.
All right.
Very good.
Rather than look in your face when